Today we will talk about the fibula. We know in the leg there are two bones, one is the tibia and another one is the fibula. And the tibia lies medially and the fibula lies laterally. And this fibula is homologous to the ulna of the upper limb. Now, what type of bone the fibula is? The fibula is a typical long bone, so it has an upper end, it has an lower end, and it has a intervening shaft. Now, move to the upper end. In the upper end, it contains three special features or three important features. The number one, it contains a facet. If we see another picture, it contains a articular facet to articulate with the tibia and forms the superior tibiofibular joint. Look at that, it has a facet in the upper end to articulate with the tibia and forms the superior tibiofibular joint, which is a plain variety of synovial joint. Number two, it contains a bony projection at the upper end, which is known as the stylet process. And this stylet process is for the attachment of the fibular collateral ligament. And number three, it contains a sloping surface in front of the stylet process in a C-shaped manner, which provides attachment to the insertion of the biceps femoris muscle. So in the upper end there are three features. Number one, there is facet for the tibia for the formation of superior tibiofibular joint. There is a bony projection known as stylet process for the attachment of the fibular collateral ligament. And the number three, in front of the stylet process there is a C-shaped sloping surface for the attachment of the insertion of biceps femoris muscle. Now come to the neck. So neck is a constricted portion between the upper end and shaft. This upper end is also called head. Okay, so between the upper end and shaft, this constricted portion is the neck of the femur, and it comes directly in contact with the common peroneal nerve on the lateral aspect and anterior tibial vessels in the medial aspects. So laterally it is related with the common peroneal nerve and medially it is related with the anterior tibial vessels. Now come to the shaft. The shaft, it contains three borders. Anterior border. The shaft contains three borders: anterior border, posterior border, and medial border, and as well as three surfaces: medial surface, lateral surface, and posterior surfaces. At first, come to the anterior border. The anterior border provides attachment to a triangular anterior intermuscular septum, and in the lower aspect, it splits to enclose a triangular area, and the anterior margin of the triangular area there is attachment of the superior extensor retinaculum, and posterior margin of this triangular area there is attachment of the superior extensor retinaculum. So let's see the anterior end. The anterior border. So look at that. This is the anterior border, and look at that, at the lower end it is splitted to enclose a triangular area. So there is attachment of the anterior intermuscular septum, and the anterior margin there is attachment of the superior extensor retinaculum, and the posterior margin of this triangular area there is attachment of the superior peroneal retinaculum. Now move to the medial border or interosseous border. The medial border or interosseous border, there is attachment of the interosseous interosseous border or medial border, there is attachment of the interosseous membrane, and in the upper end it contains a gap for the passage of anterior tibial vessels, and the posterior border, it gives attachment to the posterior intermuscular septum of the leg. So let's see this. So this is the interosseous border or the medial border, and here there is attachment of the interosseous membrane. If you see this picture, look at that. This is the interosseous border, and look at that, there it gives attachment to the interosseous membrane, and in the upper end it presents an oval gap for the passage of the anterior tibial vessels. And we already told you that the neck of the fibula, medially it is related with the anterior tibial vessels, and through this oval gap the anterior tibial vessels passes. Now move to the posterior border. So which one is the posterior border? So the posterior border, it lies posteriorly. Look at that. This is the posterior border, and the posterior border gives attachment to the posterior intermuscular septum. Now move to the surfaces. At first come to the medial surface. Which one is the medial surface? It lies between the anterior border and interosseous border. So this is the anterior border and this is the interosseous border. So between them, this is the medial surface, and this medial surface is the smallest surface or narrowest surface. And let's see the attachment of the medial surface. Look at that. In the medial surface, this is a diagrammatic picture of the medial surface of the fibula, and look at that. In the whole width of the upper 1/4 and the anterior half of the medial 2/4, there is attachment of the extensor digitorum longus muscle, and the posterior half of the medial 2/4, there is attachment of the extensor hallucis longus, and the lower 1/4, there is attachment of the peroneus tertius muscle. Now move to the lateral surface. So which one is the lateral surface? The lateral surface will be this surface, and what are the attachments in the lateral surface? So look at that. In the lateral surface, the whole width of the upper 1/3 and the posterior half of the up to middle 1/3, there is attachment of the peroneus longus muscle, and anterior half of the middle 1/3 and the whole width of the lower 1/3, there is peroneus brevis muscle. So you can say in the lateral surface there is peroneal compartment. Why? Because there is peroneus longus and peroneus brevis muscle is attached. And last of all, the posterior surface. The posterior surface, it lies between the interosseous border and the posterior border. So this is the interosseous border, and posteriorly there is posterior border. So rest of the surface will be the posterior surface. So this surface is the posterior surface. So let's see the attachment of the posterior surface. In the posterior surface, in the upper 1/4 area, there is attachment of the soleus muscle, and the upper 2/4 of the grooved surface between the medial crest and medial border, there is tibialis posterior, and lower 3/4 of the lateral area, there is flexor hallucis longus. Now come to the lower end. The lower end, it contains a bony projection laterally, which is called lateral malleolus, and it presents four surfaces: anterior surface, posterior surface, medial surface, lateral surface, and a tip. In Ekedatto, it is written as a tip and an anterior border, but here it is written as anterior surfaces. So at first come to the anterior border or anterior surface. There is attachment of anterior talofibular ligament, and there is a notch there for the calcaneofibular ligament. Posterior surface, there is attachment of the peroneus brevis. Actually, there is not attachment, it lodges the tendon of the peroneus brevis and peroneus longus. And in the medial surface, it contains a triangular articular surface in front and a depression which is known as malleolar fossa. This malleolar fossa provides attachment to the posterior tibiofibular ligament in its upper part, and in the lower part it provides attachment to the posterior talofibular ligament. And the lateral surface, it is triangular and subcutaneous, and we can feel this lateral malleolus. Let's see the features of the lower end. Look at that. Look at that. At first come to the tip. Look at that. This is the tip of the lower end, and this tip provides attachment to the calcaneofibular ligament. This tip attachment gives attachment to the calcaneofibular ligament. And the anterior border, this is the anterior border. The anterior border, it provides attachment to the anterior talofibular ligament. Anterior talofibular ligament. And posterior border, there is a groove. Look at that. In the posterior border, there is a groove for the tendon of the peroneus longus, which lodges in the tendon of the peroneus longus and peroneus brevis. And we will see there is a depressed area which is called malleolar fossa in the lower end, and this depressed area or the malleolar fossa, it provides attachment to the tibiofibular ligament and as well as the posterior talofibular ligament. And you can see there is a rough triangular area which is attached, this rough triangular area which provides attachment with the lower end of the tibia and forms inferior tibiofibular joint. It joins with the tibia and forms inferior tibiofibular joint, which is a syndesmosis type of fibrous joint. And you can see there is a facet, smooth shiny facet. This facet is for the articulation with the talus bone, and it forms a part of the ankle joint. So that's all about the fibula. So how to determine the side, it will be, I will share in another video, but in short I am telling this. At first, look at that, the upper end is broad but the lower end is narrow. So the rounded broad end is called the head, it will be directed upwards, and the narrower flattened end will be directed downwards. And the triangular articular facet, this triangular articular facet in the lower end, it will faces medially, and the depression or the malleolar fossa, it lies below and behind the triangular facet. So that's all from the fibula.